Hey, yo, everybody, welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I'm your host, Shannon Hagler, alongside Kina Johnston.
It's Detective Pikachu Day.
Oh, yes, it is.
I'm excited.
It is a great day in human history.
It is. I also got $50 off my electricity bill, so...
Hey,
yeah.
Look at that. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Something like that.
As close as it's ever going to get.
Fried.
Yeah. This is the show where we talk the games and the games industry at large. But first, before we jump in, if you enjoy what you're watching or about to watch, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well. If you have any questions for us, you can comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. We are also on Patreon and all social media at The Amalgam Show. And our podcast is now live on iTunes, Podcast Addict, Podbean,
It should be everywhere.
Literally everywhere, Spotify, all those good places. Cool. And so, before we get any further into stories, what have you been playing? What you been up to?
Pretty much just Final Fantasy X still.
Nice.
I just beat... Spoilers for Final Fantasy X, I guess.
Yeah, spoilers for a 18-year-old game.
Yeah. To be fair, it just got ported, and... But like, yeah. I beat Unalesca, which was...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's damn near the end of the game.
Yeah, no. When I beat her, I feel like I'm on the fourth disc now. Like,
yes.
That kind of the way they've like Square games were structured.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm up to that, and I am. I'm literally up to like go to Sin. I'm like,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing I found about that game is like I don't know how to beat anyone. I'm like, you just spam summons. Like you just go overdrive summons and just.
You can. I mean, depending on the boss. Seymour has that banish ability, which makes summons not as effective.
I'm happy to like get like usually they don't one hit, but I just get that like especially with Bahamut, just like one like you can do more than 4-9 damage.
Yes. Yeah.
And then just keep doing that over and over again. Like I'll grind, get the meter up, and then just make sure that they're alive and just spam them. Because that Seymour Flux was ridiculous.
Yes, that was the one I was talking about.
Okay.
How like it allows you to, you have to kind of like if you're going to do that without spamming the summons, you've got to play with the fact he's got that attack called Lance of Atrophy, which does a decent amount of damage, but also casts zombie. Yeah, and you can use that to your effect because one of his attacks has no effect on you if you have zombie.
What attack is that?
I think it's his like Overdrive or the ultimate one where he
Annihilation.
Where he comes in and does. I don't think that has any effect on you if you're zombified.
I don't think that's the case with. I know that's for Unalesca.
No, it's his auto life stuff.
Yeah.
Auto life. Oh god, I can't remember now.
He has full life, which he'll do like Spear of Atrophy, and
then he'll use full life to kill you.
Up.
Yeah, but there's a way you can use that to your advantage. It's been a while since I've actually played that game to completion, so I'm struggling to remember what it is. But there's a way you can actually kind of, especially if your speed stats are higher and you've got the right combination of people in, you can kind of line it up in the turns so that he hits Lance of Atrophy and you're like, cool, I can do this thing and then cure that person, and then he does full life and it like heals you instead, and you can use it against him, which is great. And so they kind of like make you think that way. But you're right, you can just spam summons in that game.
I did try to like do it legitimately. Like I went through and like grinded for ages and what's the word? Fused all my weapons with holy water so that they would be zombie proof, but they're not zombie proof, they're just zombie resistant because I still got zombied.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't fast enough to actually like get in a move between Lance of Atrophy and full life. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. And that's the same thing with Unalesca. Like I was trying to do the same thing, but eventually just grinded out until I got holy, and then just went to town.
So one of the things that I noticed in that game is that the point in the game in which you would typically be expected in a Final Fantasy game to start grinding, where they drop you in the calm lands. Yeah. It's like this big open space, and you're like, okay, well I could just fight monsters forever. Yeah. What I found about this particular game is that it's actually more beneficial if you do the quote unquote grinding earlier on. Yeah. So after my second or third playthrough of that game, what I start doing now is, instead of just going through an area through the story beats and then waiting until things are kicking my ass. In that early part of the game, when you're getting up to just before Macalania Temple, where you have to fight Sin for the first time and the chocobos get wiped out, every area they take you to in a new one that's there, I just take my time. I take my time exploring every single bit. I kill as many monsters as I possibly can. I get myself up to a certain point. Like when I'm playing it, it's easier for me to see it. But like when I see it on the sphere grid, I'm like, I want to get to here before I finish this area off, and then I'll go to the next one with certain characters. And then if you do that kind of all the way up until Macalania, at that point, not Macalania, the Jose Temple. If you do it up until that point, you're overpowered for the beginning of the game, but once you hit Jose, everything flattens out, and you end up just being on par with everything for the rest of the game, which works out really nicely. Yunalesca's a fun battle because it's an old school Final Fantasy with like
3 stages.
Different stages, and she transforms, and you're like, ugh, it's gross.
I did like that fight because it could do, like, you had to strategize it, because like if you were a zombie, she'd then do Death. I think it's just called Death, where she brings out the Grim Reaper who like one-shots everyone.
Oh, the Megadeath.
Yes. Megadeath, that's what it is.
That's the battle I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yes, because she can put zombie on you with that bite attack. And then she casts Megadeath, which if you are not zombied, kills your entire party. But if you're zombied, you're fine. And so you've kind of got to use the status effect she's inflicted on you against her. And it's cool.
I did like that, and like trying to like have a balance of zombie, not zombie people, and like no winning, because she then casts regen on you, which then takes damage, but it's not that much damage, so it's just like slowly sapping. Keeping that balanced, and then also spamming summons. And Holy, like Holy's ridiculous now.
Have you picked up any of the extra summons?
No, I don't think so. No, I just before you got here, because I'm going through trying to pick up some extra stuff, and I went back to the desert, which is a place I just ran through because I didn't feel like I didn't have my party together at that point, and that's when you're like, so I'm just like trying to go through it, and it's so long. And so I'm going back there collecting a bunch of stuff, and then I ran into an Al Bhed person, and I can't understand what they're saying.
No.
And then I said yes, and then I came across I think a Dark
Ifrit.
Yeah. And then they showed the cutscene where he's like trying to get up, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I walked back, to where he is without knowing. I thought I was going back to home. No, it's him. I'm like, fuck. And then he just party wiped me. So I'm like, about 15 minutes lost, I think. I don't know when the last time I saved was, because I've just been wandering the desert for the like last 2 hours.
Dark Aeons are fun. They're a really fun added extra bonus content at the end. They are fucking OP. But the game is designed in such a way that like, if you're trying to just play the story, you can blitz through it pretty simply with not too much issues and not too much strategy. If you are going to go and try and do those, there is a plethora of things you can do. Because the thing with the sphere grid and all of the mixing and the items and the customization and the format of the battles, there is so much like minutia you can actually dig down into and be like, I want my characters to do this and that and the other.
I think I've gotten to that point with Kimahri where I've maxed out all of his stats and he can't do anything except move on to other people's grids.
Yes, so he's the quickest one to do that.
Because I think he has like that blue mage sort of heritage as well as being a Lancer.
I think if you pick the expert grid, standard grid is fine, but the expert grid has way more flexibility in its movement. And in the expert grid, Kimahri is basically, I think he does it in the standard grid as well. He starts at the center of the grid, and in the expert one, you get an option to pick which direction he goes earlier. He's kind of like a pretty good all-rounder until a certain point, and then you're kind of forced to choose which way he goes. Whereas in the expert grid, you can get that choice earlier and create this kind of like sort of jack of all trades, or the person you just slot in. I generally get him to go along the same path as Tidus, and get a secondary like super fast striker in the team.
Yeah.
Because having that speed up front is really, really handy, and having a couple of people that can cast like Hastegar and stuff like that is always really handy as well.
Yeah, I can see that logic. Because I think the route I decided to go, because it was closest to Lulu's.
Yes,
at the time, so I just went like, I'm starting Black Mage, and he's literally got level 3 spells.
And nice.
So, but I haven't actually practically used him because his stats in Magic aren't that good.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
you kind of have to.
Demi's like good because it will do a set amount of damage. But
One of the interesting things about Kimahri is that you can kind of get him to a certain point on the grid, get all the abilities and stuff, but then you kind of have to backtrack what the previous character did to get all the stats up in that area. And that usually means that, like, when you look at like Riku, if you just follow her sphere grid along, she ends up on Lulu's train. And all of the sphere grids do that. They end up like rotating basically until they go back in and coalesce into the center. Which ends up being really weird because Tidus, if you follow his path just straight through the whole thing, he ends up on Yuna's path, and then he kind of gets.
That kind of checks out.
It makes sense, but he kind of like. It means that the point of the game where he's strongest is like in the middle of the story, and then towards the back end or even towards like the end game stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
he kind of doesn't get any more buffs in strength unless you shift him using a friend sphere over to the other side of the grid, or unless you do some like fuckery with other nodes and stuff like that. Because he just then gets like a bunch of magic points that he doesn't really use because his magic is haste and stuff like that, which is support. It doesn't really help anyone.
Yeah.
He doesn't need magic stats for that. What he needs is more buffs. So what I tend to do is once I get those first few white magic spells off of Yuna, where it's like, okay, cool, now I've got a couple of healers that I can use, I just pick him up and shift him over to Auron's side of the grid and just get those buffs in strength. Because then he just, when Tidus is strong, he just wrecks shop. And Wakka and Auron end up going along the same path as well. The sphere grids are really fantastic, underrated, I think. And I say that even though the sphere grid does get praise, I still think it's underrated with how good a leveling up and like system it is for all of the aspects of the game. And the fact that it's got the flexibility, the fact that they went with, there's the standard and the expert grid, so you can kind of pick which way you want to go. That game is fan-fucking-tastic.
I have a couple of problems with the game itself. Is I do not like the temple puzzles. They just slow the game down, I think. And
the animation and all that kind of stuff is, I mean,
I get why they're there, but I'm like,
it's different.
I get it. Seems very PS2 to we're going to do something that's not the core gameplay. It's not leveling up. It's like.
Oh, it's not just that, but I also think like in that era, like puzzles, like putting a puzzle in your game was almost always something that you would do. I enjoy them from the perspective that they are different. Like it's not a combat mechanic. It is a puzzle to solve, and they're not difficult to solve. The Macalania one's a bitch.
There's a couple of them that are a bitch. Like the ice one.
Macalania Temple. It's really, really annoying.
It's just like I knew exactly what to do, but trying to do it perfectly, you're like, oh, come on, now it's a fucked up one, so I have to do the whole thing again. Or the one I just did, the final Aeon one. I'm just like,
in Zanarkand,
I just went YouTube. Weird that they threw a Tetris. It's straight up Tetris pieces in there.
Yes, there is. How'd you like that boss? The one where you had to like switch around.
I like that. Was very interesting.
It's one of those things. Like I said it a lot in my Kingdom Hearts like review and during the talk that we had. That one of my pet peeves in games is introducing a mechanic for no particular reason, no discernible reason, and just having it appear and then being like, you need to be an expert at this right now. And you're like, but when was I supposed to learn this? Why is it happening now? But for some reason, that 1 in 10 doesn't bother me. I like the slight little...
I think because the temples have done teleporty stuff before, whether you're pushing the stuff, whether you're pushing the things before, like it makes sense within the context of the temples and their lore. And then... It's just interesting, like the triple attack that it can do, but you can't have all your party out, like not in the 3 because there's 6 of them. But then the way you start off, it just makes it like not very easy to move everyone out of position.
Yeah.
So someone's always going to be in position, and then he has Berserk Tail, which is fucking annoying.
Yes, yeah. And then and I think the thing that I like about it is that it's very plain and obvious, like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I've got 6 points I can be on. I've got 3 of them are in front and 3 of them are behind. And he turns too, so he doesn't always face the same direction. It's like, all right, cool. So if I'm behind him, then I can get. And I remember when I was a kid playing this, I was like, oh, I'll just get all of them behind him, do a bunch of damage, and when he turns around, I'll go back and behind him. But then when I did that, the bases start glowing, and then you're like, wait, they're glowing. That's probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then they explode and kill you, and you're like, great, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I just like the design they always do of these things about, like, in that particular level, when you summon an Aeon, like, they're sitting on a floating rock outside of the battlefield. And
but then the downside to it is that you get an instant glyph explode. Like,
yes,
you can only do the one move.
Like. Exactly, yeah. So you've got to have, like, your overdrive up, and, and that's when, like, again, the other parts of the game's mechanics, like getting celestial weapons and other bits and pieces in your inventory so that you can have like triple overdrive, which is an awesome ability. So when your overdrive bar's full, you can use overdrive 3 times in a row, like 3 turns in a row. It's so good, man. There are so many like really fine detail abilities that can be attached to weapons and armor that the opportunity is endless. Like there's just so much shit you can do. So like triple overdrive, so when your overdrive bar fills, it stays full for 3 turns, and then you can use your overdrive 3 turns in a row, which is awesome when you've got like Yuna, because you can use like, okay, so I can use what is it, Mega Summon or whatever she calls it, so I can summon 3 Aeons in a row that all have their overdrives. And if I just plan to have other Aeons with their overdrives full, then I can just summon them and use their overdrives. I can use like 6 of them in one battle. Like it's really good. I have one complaint in the overdrive system. I love the overdrive system. I think it's one of the best mechanics.
It seems like a really good evolution of the limit break system from 7 specifically.
Yes, I think it's the best evolution they've had for that, for whatever their mega attack is. I think it's the best one they've ever done, because it's like when you first get it, it's a really simple risk reward. You get attacked, your overdrive bar goes up. The more you get attacked, the more it goes up. You can leave your party members dying, or you can heal them, but it's simple. Like get attacked, get overdrive, cool. And then as you use your party in different ways, and you do more things with them, they open up new ways to
that
upgrade.
System I just like, because I've been like getting notices like Tidus learned Warrior. I'm like, it's not showing up in my overdrive system. I finally actually went into the overdrive thing and like different what are they called, modes. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like I pretty much have everyone on Warrior.
Warrior's a good one,
I did try to have it on Ally, where I think it was every time
someone else gets hit.
It was the one specifically where it was like on the character's turn, but for some reason it wasn't working, and I don't know if it was a glitch or if I just didn't understand the terminology properly. So I went back to Warrior, but I have Yuna on every time she heals.
Yes, so what Yuna having on healer is really good. There are a couple of other ones as well that are really good because there are way more. And the way it works is just like if you perform a certain action over and over and over and over and over again, it will unlock one of those abilities. So there is one for like every time you use magic, which is good to put on Lulu. Like just give her that one and she'll just get that. She what was it, the there are ones like Comrade, which is really good, which is like when anyone else takes damage, and those ones are actually really good because Warrior's great because it's every time you attack.
And I think for me, I like being able to have the control of when it goes up.
Warrior's really good for like say Auron and Tidus and maybe Waka, depending on how you're playing those 3, but they're really good for that. But then there's other ones like Comrade's a really good one because the overdrive bar increases directly proportional to the damage the ally took. So if you're standing in battle and your comrade takes a bit of damage, then your overdrive bar goes up a little bit. But if you're standing in battle and the boss takes out your comrade like from max health to 0, your overdrive bar instantly shoots up to full. And so like it's proportional in that way, and so you can kind of work with that and come up with different ones. There are so many, like there's a pretty big list of those.
Keep unlocking more of them. Like,
and it does get down to the thing where like depending on the battle that you're doing, like it is probably decent. Like you you choose like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think Dancer's a good one as well for Lulu. I think it's called Dancer. Lulu's got the highest evasion stat. Off the base, like when you're just going through their regular sphere grids, her evasion stat is huge, and that one is your overdrive goes up every time you avoid an attack. And if you spend a lot of time with Lulu, you can get to the point where she basically never gets hit. Like literally, I had so many monsters like attack her, and she just like steps out of the way, and that's it. And you're like, yeah, buddy, fucking this bitch with a dress, bitch with a Moogle, But my problem with the overdrives is Lulu's overdrive. I don't like it. It's the only one.
That's what I was going to point out. Like,
it's so bad.
It tells you to spin around, and in Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I was fucking pro at spinning that stick. I beat Kyron every time. But for this one, I don't know. Like, am I making not proper circles? Am I like, is it just busted from the get-go?
I'm pretty sure it's just busted from the get-go because I have been playing this game on and off since the day it was released in 2001. I have never been able to fill that bar, ever.
It gets full?
Yeah, because like all of them have, so all of them have their base overdrive.
Yeah. And then when you get it right, it does more.
Exactly.
I thought hers was just counter, like, when you get the counter up.
I'm pretty sure you can get it to full and then it does like a thing, like maybe.
More thing.
I would assume so. I've never actually bothered to Google it because I figured it was a thing. Because like if you do Orin's, combination, he does more damage in the attack. If you hit Wakka's like all 3, then he does like a big thing.
The big thing.
The big thing. They all have like this. Yeah. They all have one thing that is like, oh, if you do whatever it is that you're doing for them correctly, then they have like this signature attack basically. And I'm pretty sure Lulu has something that happens if you fill that bar. Probably not. If you know, leave a comment because I don't fucking know. But I feel like there should be.
I just like assumed, like, especially for Flare is a 1-to-1, and like the higher the counter, the more flares. Like it is like 4 on the counter equals 4 flares, but it's different for each spell.
Yeah.
I don't get the point of overdriving with bio unless it's for like an entire like opposition party. So, like cast bio on everyone then.
Yeah. But that would basically be it, because you can do bio on like a group or something like that. Because that's the thing with that one is that like if it is purely just that, then you can kind of strategy it out. Like if you've got three enemies, you just go like 1, 2, 3, done. I've got 3 bios, boom, 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 you're done. But like I don't use bio that much anyway because there are a list of spells in this game that do get a little bit nerfed because of the existence of things like the weapons having the abilities of like poison touch and stuff like that. Like you don't need bio so much. But yeah, flare and holy and stuff like that is just, OP.
Yeah. That's always my favorite thing about every Final Fantasy game is that like white mages and even to an extent black mages kind of suck at the start, especially the classic games. Like and even like in 13 and stuff, like they take forever to get any sort of effectiveness. But when you invest in them, they become the best characters on your field. Like Vanille in 13.
Yes.
Like Yuna. Even the white mage in 1. Like you black mage and white mage doing holy and meteor just fucking Rosa in Final Fantasy 4.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, even like when you look at Final Fantasy 8, Rinoa, who is technically the mage or whatever, she's fantastic if you use her correctly. But like when it comes to 10, like Lulu is invaluable. Like she's
in all my fights.
She's MVP for me. She's always been MVP because like when I first played, I remember the first time I played through that game, I barely used Yuna because there are so many chunks of that story where she's not part of your party, so she does fall behind by a fair chunk. What I love about it though is that you do get all the sphere points, like the ability points that have been happening while you're away, so when you get her back you can just dump a bunch of points into her, which is great. But it's it can be a little bit frustrating with Yuna specifically to try and get her up to speed because she just falls behind a little bit. Like I know her HP stat is abysmal for a while. And it's really difficult to keep her around. Same with Riku. When she's first introduced to the party, she's the only other issue I have with the game. Not her specifically as a character, because I think she's fine, but just she's introduced so late, and it is kind of difficult to use her effectively. I understand it because you've had so much time to get used to the rest of the party members, you know what they do, and they give you enough time so that when Riku is introduced, you're not overwhelmed by what she can do. You can actually, like, you know what you're doing with the rest of them, so you're not learning them anymore. So you can actually take the time to be like, oh, Riku, okay, what does she do? But the problem is that what she does isn't useful at that stage of the game. It's only useful way further down the track, and she's not strong enough to keep around, so I just end up switching her in or out to get some experience until she's high enough level.
She's my just Machina destroyer, like just go and steal. Like, and I think that's a really neat idea.
Absolutely. She's really, really good when, like, climbing Mount Gargazet. Like, with all those fucking Machina running around, you just like, okay, switch her in, steal, just destroy them. The bigger ones she can just take out in one hit, and you can, like, do the little ones with the other guys and not worry too much. And that's where you can get most of her levels too. Like, she'll level up pretty quickly on Mount Gargazet.
I actually had a bug at Mount Gargazet because the battle would finish and it wouldn't go to my stats screen. Like, it would just stop. And between save points is so long, I'm like climbing that. And because that's the Kimahri character development scene, you have to go through like the cutscene of them all like singing the hymn and stuff like that. So if you don't like come back, save again, you have to go through that cutscene again. And climb up the mountain, and it was just the worst. I had that happen twice.
And that sucks.
And I got like probably
that sucks because that's
halfway. I'm like, fuck this. And what I just figured, I'm just gonna flee from everything. Just get Tidus and just flee. And I did it. I got up to the next save point. I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, fuck, there's a boss. Which I think that's the other problem I have with the game. No skippable cutscenes. Like, and it's an annoyance since the PC version has it. Like the PC version has. The skippable cutscene has the...
I feel like I think you are able to skip. I feel like you are.
No. I've tried everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like on the PS4 version I can skip.
No, I know the PS4 version you can't. You can like X through it in like some of the dialogue.
I just thought that during the actual cinematic ones I could hit pause and then eventually a little circle skip would appear and I just hit that and... Because that's what they've done in every other Final Fantasy port. It's not there's no skip button that appears during it, but if you pause the cutscene at a certain point, it's usually after the first like 30 seconds or so. So that basically they give you enough time to go like, have I seen this cutscene? Yeah, I've seen this cutscene. Pause, and then it'll be like skip or return to title screen. One of those two options, and then you can just hit a button and it just skips the cutscene.
This doesn't have that.
I know it does it in 12, I think.
Yeah, 12, I'm pretty sure 12 does have skippable cutscenes. But yeah, no,
it might be the way it's coded, though, I guess.
It's probably. The only thing I can think of is that because it's put on Switch, which means it's got to be put on the cartridge. Even then, only 10 to the download still when you get it that way. They had to compress it so much that they just had to cut some of the PC features out because you can't do like the 2-4s. Like all those cool Final Fantasy 9 features are not like they are in the PC version of 10, but they're not in the Xbox or Switch version. There's little stuff like that. It's like I feel like the Xbox was just made with parity for the Switch. With all of its like enhanced for X as well, stuff like that. Whereas I think it's just parity, but like just a couple of little things. I'm like, I would like could you patch it in or like
it would be nice to have that, but because it just was gonna say it's just sucky that you got a bug at that point too, because that whole Mount Gargazet is one of the best story beats in that game. Especially with Seymour the character like basically committing genocide. Like as close to it as possible. He almost wipes out the Ronso entirely. And his like gleeful chuckle as he says they threw themselves at him one after another, and he's just like, man, what an evil piece of shit. And it's actually really emotionally like resonant and heartbreaking, that one, and that sucks because like the through line of Mount Gargazet only works if the game is working correctly, because if you're pissed off at it, that sucks. Because you're just like, fuck you, I don't care about the Ronso, let me get to the next part.
Yeah.
Where they explain it's all a dream. Oh,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to get explained more, which I doubt that'll happen.
It does not. It does not. It does not.
Yeah. No,
the Ultimania is basically where everything... Like, when the Ultimania came out for Final Fantasy X, it's basically when everyone went, oh, right. Now it makes sense. And this is why 10 is like a bittersweet game for me. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best, if not possibly the best. Not my favorite, but like objectively possibly the best Final Fantasy game. But it does begin the cycle of let's have our stuff explained outside of the game because the Ultimania explained 10 in a way that it didn't. And that this was the first one when they were like, let's do a sequel that's not as good. I'm interested to see what you think of 10-2.
So am I.
Because it is... oh, man.
I'm really looking towards battle system, if anything else. Because I've heard that, like...
It's alright. It's alright.
I've heard people say it's one of the best battle systems. Like,
I disagree.
I really like the job system in 3 and 5.
Yeah.
So, I think I probably will like it.
I mean, it's a complaint that I usually have with ATB systems in general. Which is just that, like, depending on the battle in the game, sometimes there's just too much happening, and you can't physically be able to do anything. You can stick it on weight, but then it just gets even like it's not right. And the way they set out the battles as well, it's hard to see what you're doing because they're not in 2 rows. Like a traditional Final Fantasy, there's just an open area with a bunch of monsters and your 3 party members, and they just move freely around the battle space.
Kind of like 13.
Kinda, yeah. You have no active control over them, but they just move around. And so it does mean that, like, when you're looking at the battle and trying to figure out who you want to target and all that kind of stuff, it just kind of gets muddled. That's my complaint with it. I like the idea behind the Dress Sphere system, but I have more. So I was going to ask about the hidden Aeons, whether you found any, because there's stuff in Final Fantasy X-2 that I have never seen, and I have completed that. I have completed that game 2 or 3 times as well, and I have never seen the proper ending apart from YouTube videos. And I have missed out on at least 30% of the Dress Spheres in that game because I just don't know where to get them. And I know walkthroughs exist, but I don't like doing them. I prefer to play a game with my own experience, and like I have with 10, like I've never looked through a walkthrough for 10. I just play it so much that I just know where everything is. I know how to get certain things. I've never gotten Lulu's ultimate weapon because I know how to get it and I don't want to. I'm not dodging lightning bolts in the Thunder Plains for 2 hours.
Fuck, yeah.
You have to dodge 200 lightning bolts perfectly in a row without getting hit.
No, fuck the fuck out of that. I couldn't even do that, like, 2 in a row going through there.
Yeah, no. It's shitty. It's the worst part of that game.
Especially when I feel like this game does have input lag because it is just an RPG. Like, I feel... Like, even Tidus is going, like, his bar. Like, I feel like every time I press a button, it's not... when I want it.
You press it, it's like...
Actually, the more egregious one is Wakka's roulette system. It just... And I never feel like it's where I want it to be. Like, I've got to press it the one before.
Attack Reels, I think, is the first one that he gets.
I've only got the first one,
because right, of course. You have to play Blitzball to get his other overdrive.
No, I'm not doing that either. Of course that's where I would get it.
You have to play the Blitzball minigame, and there's the league mode and then there's the tournament mode. So you can play a tournament, like just a single elimination tournament, and like I think it's something like it's on a timer. So like every 3 or 4 tournaments you do, the prize for winning that tournament will be Wakka's new overdrive. Same with the league. Every 2 or 3 times you do that, the prize for winning the league will be Wakka's overdrive, and he has Attack reels is the first one, which I think is the base one that you get.
Yeah.
And that one I learned, because I've used it so much, I've actually learned to time.
Yep.
Like I know how to get that one so that it's
yeah
that I can at least get hits on all of them and not have a miss on any of them.
Yeah.
If not getting like ×3 hits on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I've learned how to time that one. His second one, status reels, is a little bit more difficult. So yeah, he does attacks, and then it puts status effects on all the, like, you know, he spins around and does an attack. Each one of those attacks will have, depending on what you do, like either a different status or the same status. So you can be casting like sleep, blind,
cool,
you know, all these different effects.
Silence,
silence, all these different effects at once, and doing that kind of stuff. What's the next one after that? I think he's only got, I think he has 4. I don't know what the 4th one is. But the last one is called Auroch Reels, because of the Besaid Aurochs, and it's just like his overpowered. Like if you get 3 Auroch symbols in a row, he just goes fucking berserk and, you know, massive damage and all that kind of stuff. That's the one you need. That's the limit break you need. And then he breaks the...
oh, cool. Damage.
He breaks the damage limit of 999.
Cool.
Yeah. They all can do that too. They can all break the damage limit. You do need their celestial weapon.
Yep.
That breaks their damage limit. Lulu's and... Oh, yeah, and that was the other thing. Yes, so you get the 3 different overdrives, and then when you get all 3 of those, his celestial weapon is the final prize for beating a Blitzball tournament.
Okay.
Which is called the World Champion. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I liked Blitzball. I confess, I liked playing Blitzball.
I can see playing it, trying to get the weapon, and like actually figuring out how it works and like stuff like that. Like I could see myself doing that, but I don't want to. Like,
yeah. No, I get not wanting to. I just I defend it as a half decent mini game.
Yeah.
Especially if because like. The biggest problem is I never liked Blitzball because I always found it so difficult to win that first fucking game.
Yeah.
And it is really difficult if you fuck up the cutscene with Tidus on the boat before you get to Luca. He's kicking the ball against the thing, and you got to hit the button prompts to tell his dad to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do that correctly, and you actually do that, you gain a new ability for Tidus in the Blitzball pool. The eject shot, you get that, and it's super overpowered. And so, pro tips for everyone. It's super overpowered because what it does is when you have defenders in front of you. You know how he's like bouncing the ball off? You get 2. So he hits the ball and it bounces off one of the defenders, knocks them out of the equation. Then it bounces off the second, knocks them out of the equation, and then you can fire straight at the goal. And it's a base like stat boost on his shot by 5. So you get an extra 5 to your shot as well. Yeah. And if you get close enough to the goal and you only have 1 defender, the second bounce off takes out the goalie and you can just go straight for him. And then, what was I gonna... Oh, yeah, and then if you can get 1 ahead of the Luca goers, there is a bug in the game where if you can just grab the ball and swim behind the goalie, game over. They don't know what's happened, and they freak out, and you just sit there and let the clock drain. Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. And if you can win that first game of Blitzball, it makes life better because the Luca goers get this stupid fucking stat boost after they win that and beat you, and so then whenever you go back in to play Blitzball, it's harder to beat them. So you've got to kind of work against it. But if you beat them, you get a stat boost, you get a seed ranking, like you get a whole bunch of stuff that helps you along and it makes life a little bit easier. Not only that, but pro tip, the second you can, ditch the fucking Besaid Aurochs, because you can hire other people to play in your Blitzball team. You can go around to people, it's basically the triple triad thing where you press square on certain townspeople. You can just hire them, they'll bring up their stats. I pick up every time there is a goalkeeper in Luca, in that town, there is another striker, and there's like a defender. There's like 1 of each, the position that you need, that are in that town that you can hire straight off the bat, and they blow the Besaid Auroch shits out the water. Like they're fucking trash.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the quicker you can get those fuckers out of the water, the better. And then at a certain point, you can actually hire Walker back. He's like, actually, no, I'm not retired. Dumbass. But yeah, when you finish that game, let me know, especially when you're starting 10-2.
Yeah. 10-2, I'm excited for it. And then I'll get 12. I've been doing a bunch of like going to the Digital Foundry and like looking at like actual graphics comparisons and stuff. And like the Switch version holds up really well. Like it's not running proper 1080p for 12, and like it is on 10, but 10's a very different game. Like 12.
Yes, 12 was them again doing that thing where they're like pushing the PS2 limits to its nth. And
even like up-resing that's a bit tricky. Even like I don't think it runs on 4K on the X. Like it's just they just want to keep everything running properly, so just like the X just.
I mean, that game needs to run correctly. Like, you don't want any input lag or anything like that in that game because of the way it's designed. You want everything to just run smoothly.
But just like watching all that, I'm like, these are good ports. Like,
good. I'm glad they're good ports.
Except for like 10 having the weird like no skippable cutscenes and all the PC stuff. But they weren't in the PS4 version. Switch the fucking like the switch over, the swipe over, and like being able to heal wherever is great. And because it actually uses less MP than going in and using Cura on everyone.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like it uses I think it uses the proper it does the math for like actual what would you need. I think you're not
that's
fully
cool.
It's not using Cure spell each time.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Whereas like if you were to use item, it is using that method. That's thank God the Vita existed.
So
that's Final Fantasy X. Been playing. I think it's over now, but the Mario Tennis Aces special demo thing. It's like basically a beta, but the game's out and it's done, and you could just play online.
Right.
It was fun. I was pretty good at it. Like the first time I played, I won. Like got the cup, and then the second time I played, I lost over and over again. Fuck. And then I got the cup again. I'm like, cool. I know what Mario Tennis Aces is now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's a Mario Tennis game.
Yeah. I think the game would be great if you had the Wii Motion, like the what am I saying? Just motion controls to use like Mario. Like
it doesn't?
No.
Oh, I thought it did.
There's one mode where it does, but it's not an actual tennis mode. It's like a mini game.
Right.
But yeah, everyone would think they're like, oh yeah, it's a tennis game. You port that feature over and just do that.
With the Switch, which has arguably better motion controls.
I think it is. I think it's.
I don't know. I've been playing Let's Go Pikachu Let's Go Eevee for the last day or two, and that motion control is not good.
My right controller is bugged. Like the motion control just keeps going that. Like it won't line up, so I can't do anything with it now.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like my Joy-Cons are fine. It's just that like I'll be sitting there, and what I came to the realization was with Let's Go Eevee is that if I wanted to figure out my sensing correctly, I hold it up and then select A, and then do that. That's the throwing motion. That's what it wants me to do. That's what I'm going to do. Because if I did this, if I hit A to say get ready and then do this, it thinks that's a throw and throws it anyway. So I've been doing that, but the problem is, man, oh man, do you have to be precise. Because like I've been doing that and it just goes, you know, and
an easy way to get around it. It does use more resources, but it kind of basically use both Joy-Cons. Like have the 2 second player, you control the second player, or just like make them go away when you want them, and you just throw both balls, and it's like for whatever reason it syncs them up better.
Right.
So do the A up here, then throw it.
See, I thought about that because I'd heard about the thing where you actually put both Joy-Cons into the Joy-Con grip.
I mean, that probably is challenging,
because it can't sense that it's a Joy-Con grip, so it just thinks it's 2 Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And if you're throwing the Joy-Con grip, it's both sensors going at the same time. But even my Switch was like, I did that. I was like, okay, cool. It worked a few times, but once I was like, throw, and then I literally saw one ball go, then the other ball go, and I was like, come on.
I think that's just the feature itself. I don't think that's the motion control.
I don't think it's not good. Which is why I'm pretty psyched to be playing a Pokemon game this year, which probably won't have those motion controls in them,
or at least won't be the only way to catch them.
Yes, because there are battles returning and all that kind of stuff. I've just been playing that because I've been hyped for Pokemon, so I'm wanting to play a Pokemon game. I went through and did the Pidgey line of Master Trainers. So now I'm a Pidgey master, a Pidgeotto master, and a Pidgeot master. So I got myself a basically like perfect IV Pidgey with Pidgeot now, and it's fucking boss. It's nice. It's nice having a Pokemon that was like level 35 just wreck a level 70 Pokemon.
Holy shit!
It's really, really satisfying.
Because from what I could tell, those master trainers do have pretty good IV Pokemon themselves. Because I had shit one trying to battle them, and I'm like, fuck.
They have really good IVs, but they do not train their AVs. They're not EVs anymore. They're AVs. And so if you're farming for Pokemon in Let's Go and you build up enough of the candy that is specifically named, so like Pidgey candy or whatever, you get 200 of those, you can max out the AVs. Okay. And if you give those to your Pidgey, it just, the stat increase is ridiculous. And so, I did that with a Pidgey. I'm currently working on a Bulbasaur, but they're fucking hard. Rare Pokemon are just such a bitch in that game.
Yeah. The rare bugs are fucking trash.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that part.
No, because, like, trying to get a Scyther, I got a shiny Venonat instead. I got a shiny Venonat before I got a regular Scyther.
That's crazy.
And then once they popped up, they fucking kept popping up. So I bought a bunch for my friends who never actually got them off me. And
good. So which one do you have?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. I might get a Scyther off you then.
Yeah. Can't guarantee that'll be any good, but
I don't care. I just want to fill out the Pokedex now. Yeah. Basically, I want to fill out the Pokedex. I've been playing Pokemon Go on my phone a bit more recently.
I've been noticing you've been sending me gifts more lately.
Yes, well, I've been playing
best friends.
Yeah, yes.
Made sure I lucky egg that shit.
Yeah. No, I've been playing it more because for those out there is a Pokemon giveaway currently going on EB Games. There's Zeraora for those who have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. The latest mythical Pokemon is out, so duck down and go to your EB and get one of those. I forgot to get one. Fuck, I'll just message my mate. It's fine. So with that being included in there, that will basically be my Pokedex is completed on Pokebank. I have every single Pokemon from 1 to 804, I think, now. Yeah. However, I do not have Melmetal. I have Meltan. I do not have Melmetal because you can only evolve the fucker in Pokemon Go and then transfer him in. Yeah. So the sudden realization was, well, if I want a complete Pokedex before Sword and Shield comes out, I need a Melmetal. Yeah. Which means I need a Meltan, which means I need to play a lot of Pokemon Go. Yeah. I have 55 Meltan candy.
Oof. The thing is, like, every now and then they'll do the box will recount in 3 days.
It's doing that now.
It just ended.
No, mine was still. They were like, oh, I remember reading the thing.
If you reset the box before the event over, like now mine's up to 7 days.
Because is it? Okay. Yeah. Because mine was up to 3 like yesterday. Yeah. And I was still checking.
Yeah, that's fine. Like once you reset it, it'll be fine. It'll carry
back
over.
To 7.
Because I have so many, because I've been keeping on top of the Meltan thing. I'm not super on top of it, but I have one shiny Meltan, which you can only get through those 3-day events. Yeah. Like, they're a bit long. The event itself is longer. Yeah. So I have one of those. I have myself a Melmetal. I have a spare Melmetal that I need to trade someone. I've already given one away to one of my friends, my housemate.
Jeez.
And I just the other day imported one to Let's Go. So in Let's Go, I have the entire Pokedex complete except for Mew.
Oh, right.
Yeah, nice. Because of that fuckery. So I'm like, if I can ever find one of those...
Can't you trade the Mew from Go to... No?
No.
Huh.
The only way in Let's Go to get Mew is through the ball.
Oh, that sucks.
And they're super expensive. And I'm like, good. And even if I could do that, I'd be really hesitant because 1, you can't send it back, and 2, I'm trying to go for an actual complete living dex and Let's Go.
Right.
Which has been a lot of effort. But that means if I did that, Mew would never be able to come back and I'd be Mewless.
Right, yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, that was the reason I want the Melmetal anyways, because I have a complete living dex on Pokemon Bank currently sitting there, ready to go at any time. Yeah. because what I am hoping and praying Sword and Shield will allow me to do is play through the story once, go back, play through the story again with whatever Pokemon I would like. That's my one wish for a Pokemon game, is don't make me start with the same Route 1 Pokemon every single time. Let me play through the story once, get my Hall of Fame badge, and then play through the story a second time, but let me import a bunch of level 1 Pokemon from another game and just be like, let me start with some random-ass Pokemon. I've been like I'm going to go back and play through Alpha Sapphire and do the thing again where I haven't played or completed a Pokemon game with this Pokemon before. So I'm going to catch one of those because I know it's around here somewhere and just try it. I did it with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the Ultra Sun playthrough. I did it with Noivern. I've never had one of those before. So I caught one because I knew you could catch a Noibat early on. Caught it. It's a real pain in the ass because it evolves like level 48, so it's fucking forever, and it's piss weak until it evolves. So you're basically just throwing it in there, giving it some experience, then getting it out before it dies. But it learns U-turns. That makes life a little bit easier.
They know what it's for then.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, like I want to do that with Sword and Shield. But yeah, I've been playing the Pokemon. The only other thing I have been playing... Days Gone.
Not good. That's not a good example.
Okay. The plan was that I would finish that game and write a review for the website. I'm not going to finish that game.
That's fair.
I'm just not. Not even for the lulls of it. Like, not even for the Anthem style fucking shit on it. Because it's not bad enough to shit on that way. It's just...
A lot of people saying it's like a 2014 game. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I mean, like, base level, what this game is it's a Far Cry game.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. I didn't expect it to be as Far Cry as it is, but the crafting, the map, the climb the towers, it's all there. All of it's there. The scrapping things and craft, it's all of it is exactly a Far Cry game. Even down to the like, oh, here's a base that you have to like stealth through and kill, and if you don't stealth through and kill, a horde comes out. Now it's a firefight, you have to survive. The weapons don't feel good. I don't like the way they feel.
Apparently melee feels really good in that game. And
melee feels alright, but...
Still not worth it.
But I've got this fucking boot knife that they give you at the start, and that's indestructible. But the fire axe I pick up is not. So I didn't want to use melee weapons because I knew they break. They break really easily too.
Yeah.
Like they don't last. Like it's like 10 hits maybe, and then you're down to the next one, and then. Like, it just feels like they didn't realize what they were balancing because, like, the baseball bat lasts longer than the fire axe. The 2x4 lasts longer than the baseball bat. And you're like, wait a second, what? The guns don't feel good. Some of the guns don't feel good. The shotguns feel really good, but you don't get a shotgun first up. You get a pistol and a crossbow. Crossbow feels all right. Crossbows and bows in most games feel right for but people figured out bow tech like 2013 with
2013 that was it.
Everyone figured out how to make a bow and arrow feel good.
Tomb Raider, Crysis 3. There was another game that year where it was just the year of bows.
And so they figured that out.
Far Cry 3. Oh no. Yeah, Far Cry 3.
So the games figured that out ages ago, so the crossbow feels good as well. But the other guns don't feel good. You don't... This is just depressing, this game. Like, it literally is just depressing. Like, you don't... You go through and you kill people and you pick up their weapons. You don't get to keep that weapon. Even though you're in the post-apocalypse and you're salvaging and scavenging, if you pick up a weapon, it's not yours. You have to buy that weapon. And then it's part of your inventory, and then you can switch it in and out. But if you pick up a weapon in battle, you can use it, but once you run out of ammo, you better just dump it and move on to the next one. And it just doesn't feel right, because I'm going around, I'm scavenging for, like, scrap and parts and, like, you know, fuel and bandages and all this stuff. And, like, I'm saving all this, like, give me materials. Like, it's 2 years after the world ended, give me materials. But then I pick up this AK-47 and I'm like, nah, like, fuck it, I gotta buy that. Like, what? No.
Doesn't make any sense. The only thing I could think of is that, like, instead of buying, if it was like a training, like if you had to go train to use it. But again, it's a post-apocalypse. Use all the resources at your disposal. It's a fucking AK.
Yeah, just it's the fact that, like, yeah, it's just the disconnect between, like, use all the resources. Like, resources are scarce, but I can't pick up these guns and just take them. I have to purchase them from the store, and then they become part of my inventory. But if I have one and I drop it, then I'll never get that back again. It just frustrated me.
Does this seem like a game? I saw a couple of people say it, that this is an Assassin's Creed 1. Do you think they could make an Assassin's Creed 2 building on ideas, tech? Or do you think they'd have to, like...
For me, no.
Yeah.
Like, they'd have to overhaul the whole thing. Because the thing, like I said, is that when I played it for about 10 hours... and the realization real early on that it was a Far Cry game was just like, oh, and I don't want this. I don't want this at all.
Yeah.
Like, we have a Far Cry game. It's called Far Cry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this. And at the very least, if you're going to do a Far Cry game, because, like, Horizon Zero Dawn is very Far Cry-esque.
Yeah.
You gotta hook me with a narrative.
Yeah.
You've got to. And I hate every single character in this game. Like I said, I've only played it for 10 hours, and they're insufferable. I don't want to know anything about any of them. I just don't care. Deacon St. John, Boozer, I don't remember the girl's name. What was the other one? Cooper? I murdered a guy in the first, like, 5 minutes of this game, and I couldn't care less. Like, a moment that was probably meant to be emotionally resonant, and just blew his fucking brains out, and I was like, I don't care. Like, you've literally... And it's just... And it's not even like a I don't care about these. Like when it comes to Deacon St. John, I actively hate him. He's a bad character. In fact, all the characters are bad characters. They're bad human beings. Like, to the point where I was just like, these people deserve what they're getting. I don't see why I should try and help them.
Yeah.
Like, I should just drive Deacon St. John off a cliff and then credits should roll. Because he's a bad human being. And, like... I think Vinny on the Beastcast was talking about how, like, Joel is a bad person in The Last of Us, but you have Ellie, you have a glimmer of hope to live through during this time so that you can at least have a palate cleanser in this whole thing. You don't get that in Days Gone. It's just these horrible, bad people who were bad before the apocalypse and are now even worse. And I'm just supposed to get this guy to go see his... wife, fiance, lover, person, thingy. I don't know, because the cutscene that explains it is like 30 seconds long and I couldn't give a shit. Like, it just... I remember the end of the opening cutscene going like, I should probably be feeling something? Sadness? Emotions? Nah. This bike is cool, though. Like, I'll give it props for the bike. The bike control's nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like, the bike's got... Like, the bike... It's got, like, weight to it.
Yeah.
So if you do turn a corner too hard, it starts to, like, veer off and you've got to, like, bring it back under control. And if you do, like... If you, like, overcorrect and overcompensate, it goes the other way and you end up fishtailing for a little bit until you can stabilize it. So, like, it's got that sort of real weightiness.
Does it feel good, though? Because
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes I've no games that have done that, and like GTA, any of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, you always feel like you're trying to forever keep back on track.
No. Like, if, like, once you get it back, you've got it back.
Okay.
And you know, and it's simple things like this. The bike is hard to control off-road, which obviously it's a road bike. It's not designed to go off-road.
Yeah.
But when you're on the road, things drives like a dream, cruisy, nice. I have this. everything about the game in terms of like what the story and the thing it's trying to portray and set to you, coupled with its mechanics, is just dissonant. Like everything about it just doesn't quite connect. Like you've got the thing of like the bikes use fuel, so you need to collect fuel. So when you get a fuel canister, you don't get to keep it or strap it to the back of your bike or anything like that. You just fill it up and then you dump the fuel on the ground.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck that fuel, I don't need that fuel.
Yeah.
And then you drive off, leaving just like what is, from what I can tell, an infinite fuel canister because they do not end.
That's weird.
So like I don't understand, like people, like I understand people saying like, oh, they could do like an Assassin's Creed thing here and then this is one, the next one's two, and it's like, I just think that a lot of people are putting way too much weight into the ability for studios to turn it around. And also I also think that we need to stop allowing studios to make this first fumble mistake. Because
especially some point, at this level, like at this AAA level, under Sony's guidance. At
some point during the development of this game, someone must have said, well, this doesn't make any sense. And was told, shut up. And this is the game that we got. Because it just doesn't... The only way that a sequel to Days Gone would work for me is that if they were to say it's a completely different set of characters in a completely different place with a completely different mechanic. Because like the whole thing as it stands just... I can't. Like I don't have enough room in my inventory to scrap all the things I want to scrap.
That's a bad thing.
It's horrible, but it means that I'm using a bunch of stuff. And so then when it comes to the parts of the cutscene, when you're talking to a guy and he's like, oh, you know how it is, man, we got to survive. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I just left like 40 bullets out there, like a whole bunch of rags, a bunch of disinfectant, 2 infinite gas canisters, like... Apparently this place is just rolling in MacGuffins. You don't need... to be scrounging like you people are, but apparently you are.
What you're saying, and you're the only person to make me think of this, is it sounds like Mad Max, the game. And Mad Max did what you're saying, but good. Like, it has the fuel canisters, but you can put them in the back of your car. And they are limited. They are, and you only can only fit 2 of them. But you will run out of fuel, and you do have to do fuel management, but you can upgrade your car. Your car can also eventually go off-road. And you can upgrade your car to be really good and really effective, and you can have different cars.
You can
the car mechanic in Mad Max, I think, is like one of the best, including its car combat.
And so I've heard, and yeah, basically that's what I'm saying. Is that like, because the thing with the bike is that like, yes, you can upgrade it, but none of the upgrades feel substantial. And at no point was he like, and given the tone of the game, at no point was I ever going to be riding like a low riding hog with flamethrowers shooting out of the front. That was just never going to happen. As much as I wanted it. The tone of the game is just like, oh, slight upgrades and, you know, damage resistance plus 1%. Fucking great. But the problem with the bike is that, like, it guzzles fuel. Like, I'll do a drive from one mission to the next. It was like early on, so it was like I'll go by it, like the in-game waypoint system where it was like 900 meters. And I was like, cool. So I went from 100% gas, I went 900 meters away, and I'm down to 84%? Like, fucking what? That's a kilometer, and that's like sixth of my tank? Gone? Like...
That's fucked.
That's insane. Why would anyone ride a bike like that? And then, oh, conveniently, there's a can of petrol here for whatever reason. Like, literally everywhere I went, there was because the petrol cans are always on broken down tow trucks, which apparently litter the Midwest.
This is the Seattle, which is the
Northeast?
Northeast.
Okay, cool. Whatever. I don't care. Sorry to our American viewers. I don't care. Wherever it's set, apparently you guys have a lot of tow trucks. Because they're literally everywhere.
From what I've seen in Twilight,
literally every like major place that you would stop, there'd be like a tow truck with a petrol can on it, and you grab the petrol can and I fill it back up, and it's seemingly, the reason I say it's seemingly infinite is because I went to an area where there was a mission where it was like, oh, this generator's broken down, so you got to fill it with petrol, and my truck truck. My motorcycle was down to like 16% fuel or something. So I went over and I filled my motorcycle up. And I was like, well, I hope there's enough in here. And I went over to the generator and I filled it up to 100%. And I was like, well, what? So I filled both the generator and the petrol tank on the bike with just this what appears to be 5-liter jerry can. And yeah, that kind of just like, I was giving the game chances, and every time I gave it a chance, it broke the expectation. Like, the immersion in the world completely broke for one reason or another. Like, so yeah, again, things like, if resources are so scarce, then why am I only able to carry like 15 pieces of scrap when I should be hoarding all of this stuff regardless of it? Why in a world where resources are so scarce are the ears of zombies so valuable? Because that was my currency. Well, no, the currency was cents, like it would give you, but people were paying for zombie ears. Why? Maybe it explained it at some point in the story, but apparently the ears of zombies are valuable in this world. And then there's the other thing where, like, the name of the game is Days Gone, and when you open up the menu, the pause menu, it says like 773 or 737 days gone.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be some sort of mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Some sort of interesting, like, because that number does go up as the day-night cycle passes. When, like, so if it goes into nighttime and then the sun rises, you click on it again, it'll say 738 days gone. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was wondering if that would turn into something. It didn't turn into anything for me. Again, like, I don't know, because, like, apparently the game's like 60 hours long, and I just don't want to play that.
No.
I'm not going to. My conclusion has been, like, maybe I will pick it up one day when it is dropped down to like $20. If it's free on PSN 1 month.
That's what I'm probably going to wait
I might pick it up and try and figure out what the hell is going on with that game. But as it stands, we were talking about, like, was it last time we were on? We were talking about, like, is this PlayStation's first miss? The answer is yes. 100% yes. Like, I gave it the benefit of the doubt, but this thing is just a... The funny thing is, everything in that game is a 5, but because it's so many 5s put together, it immediately becomes a 2. Because you can't say anything good about it. Except for the bike. Like I said, the bike's like a 7. But even then, like, that brings the aggregate score up to 3, so, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like,
you know, I get it. It just... I'm really interested to see what the studio does next. Like... I am, like, because they make good games. It's Ready at Dawn, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, it's Bend Studios.
Yes, they made this second worst Uncharted game.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which is a good game.
Put that on the box. Makers of the second worst Uncharted game.
Or like the 5th best, or however that ranks out.
Makers of the second worst Uncharted game and the worst Far Cry game.
And there's been some... yeah, that's another thing, though. Like, Far Cry just, like... What's it doing? It's just been Far Cry. Like, it's not doing anything else.
I mean, they get away with it because they put a wacky spin on it every time.
Yeah.
Like, Far Cry... Like, starting with Far Cry 3, they found their niche of, we have the wacky villain.
Yeah.
The crazy, slightly eccentric villain. And we play with that trope and come up with something different. And, like... Far Cry 5 was boring as fuck, but Joseph Seed was a fascinating character. Like, they definitely drew me into that game with the idea of, like, what is this guy? Like, I want to know more about this charismatic religious cult leader, which is great. And then, you know, there's spin-offs, you know, Primal, that's a completely different setting. Like, oh, cool, like, you know, prehistoric man. That's a cool idea for a video game. And then New Dawn is like something, again, they've never done before, which is like, oh, we're going to set it like after the Far Cry 5 spoilers nuke drop.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Like, they do weird shit with the Far Cry formula.
I do think that the gameplay formula needs to be rejiggered. Like, I played half of Far Cry 4. I'm like, I feel like I've played this game before. And I did. It was called Far Cry 3.
Yes, yeah.
I played, like, I want more stuff like...
well, that was... that. Like I said... I think I said it back last year when I first came onto the podcast with Far Cry 5. Their little system of like, oh, you don't pick up all these different missions. You just walk into a town, a bunch of people are talking, and they're like, oh yeah, I heard Jimmy John hit a thing over at the yonder, and you're like, oh, okay, well. And then you look on your map, and now there's a waypoint on around that area, being like, oh, you overheard this thing, maybe go check it out. Then you go over there, and like, lo and behold, here's a little puzzle to solve, and boom, you've got yourself like a, what do they call, prepper stash. You're like, oh, cash, guns, sweet, awesome. And there was no like quest line or a log or people giving it to you like explicitly being like, you didn't have to go to a quest giver. You just had to walk by these people in the world, and overhearing their conversations gave you information to go do shit in the world. It's like, that is a new direction to take Far Cry. It was very interesting to do that stuff. The game is itself in a whole, again, it's a Far Cry game. So when you actually go in to do these things, you're just shooting a lot of shit, and that's about it. But with Days Gone, like I said, at least with Far Cry, like Far Cry 5, they did that little twist on it, and then there's the twist on like just the setting itself. The idea of all that was a very interesting idea. Far Cry New Dawn has a very interesting setting and ideas in there. Primal, like totally different again. I think Primal might be what you're looking for. Maybe. Because it's like, spears and bows and arrows and that kind of like different.
But here's the thing, I also really love Blood Dragon, but that's a shorter experience.
Yeah.
It's also like...
But again, like that's where it started, where they were just like, let's take the things that we've done, like let's take this engine and this stuff and just go crazy with it. And they've stumbled onto a formula which I think they'll never break, which is they make a full $100 Far Cry numbered sequel with like a new area, a new major villain, and they just throw as much money at that as they can, and they create this big old world, and it's really, it's good. People who like Far Cry will love it. You throw money on the co-op and all that kind of stuff, and then they take 12 months out to just develop a smaller spin-off sequel that releases at about $70 or $60 rather than a full price game, but it's using the same assets from the first game, just retweaked, redone, same map, add some go crazy with it, do something weird, and then release that like the following year or something else, and then they gives them time to build on the new one. Like, it's an absolutely great formula, and it'll work for a couple more years, I think. But Days Gone, all they did was take a Far Cry game and just stick some zombies in it, and then take all the humor out.
And not build the mechanics that well.
No. Even just the little things about like the positioning of the buttons. Like, for my brain, I don't know why the weapon wheel was on L1, and it didn't.
It seems very PS3.
It just didn't seem right. I feel like it should be on R1. I should have the weapon wheel, and then I should be able to move because it's the right control stick you move to select the things.
Yeah.
I just feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, maybe that's just me, but I feel like whatever stick you're using, you should be using the same triggers on that side, because you're using one hand. And so it meant that I was always hitting the wrong button for the weapon wheel, and the weapon wheel doesn't stop time; it just slows it down. So
I don't mind that Mass Effect does that.
So. Yeah, but like. In these kind of games, I prefer it to stop because I don't have a lot of health. I'm pretty squishy.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
There's a stamina mechanic, which I fucking hate. There's a skill tree, and like the skill tree is just I could go on and on and on and on, because it like I said, everything about this game is mediocre at best. When you throw it all together, it's just a bad experience. It just feels bad to do anything in that game, and therefore I don't want to do anything in that game. So sorry, Sony. Yeah, this one's a dud. This one is dead on arrival, which sucks. But hey, people are enjoying it because it reached #1 in Australia on the PSN charts. So people are enjoying it, and by all means, more power to them. But for mine, that game is just.
It seems like it probably one of those. I was gonna say, like, mechanically sound game that you can just run in and like just spend time in. A lot of people can enjoy zombies. Like, you may enjoy those characters, but like, could that probably make them out of the taste as well? But and from what I've heard, it's pretty universally everything like nah.
Yeah, and like it's just one of those things where like I can't even see where the polish was, because I had a very specific instance where I didn't. Okay, so I didn't think this was going to happen, but it did. So it annoyed me a little bit, but it was fine. I did a part of the game, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna call it there, because I thought it had saved, and it didn't. So it booted me back 20 minutes. So I was like, great, I have to do it again. It's a small camp area. I had to stalk these guys, and the first time I did it, it went pretty well. I snuck up behind the guy, stabbed him, snuck up behind the guy, stabbed him. It didn't tell me that it was over, so I was like, oh, there must be more of them. Snuck around the corner. Oh, cool, a couple of guys. Crossbow shot, they're silent kills, so that was good. Sneak back down, throw a rock, get a guy's attention, stab him, walk back over, throw a rock, get a guy's attention, crossbow bolt, and then final guy stab. And that was great. And I was like, that's fine, stealth mechanics, rob these guys, all that kind of stuff. Had to go back and do it again. Started the chain, did the exact same thing that I did the first times. Everyone was in the exact same positions they were the last time, except this time, when I snuck over, because at a certain point I was looking over a thing with my binoculars to, hit so I could get them all marked. Everyone was in the exact same positions, but instead this time, some guy from on the other side of the cliff saw me and triggered the alert, so it turned into a firefight. And I was like, I don't... And that is what has always driven me nuts about stealth mechanics, is that I don't actually know if the game AI actually sees me, or if the code just broke.
Yeah.
I can't tell. You can never actually tell if you've stealthed correctly. Yeah. Because of the way stealth mechanics work, they are just so, mushy. If you do this, you can't be seen, but if you do this, they can see directly at... there was no reason for him to be looking in my direction. I didn't do anything. I didn't make a sound. He didn't know anyone was dead. Yeah. I didn't throw any rocks. There was literally no reason. It was nighttime and it was raining, so he had no reason to look in my general direction, but he did. And because he did, he saw me. And the thing I think that always pisses me off about stealth mechanics is that if you saw someone off in the distance, you wouldn't immediately go, bad person, shoot. You would be like, who's that? Are you... You would take time. It would take time to register. And in that time, I would have the ability to be like, I want a stealth game that makes me go, oh, no, don't worry about it, and then just walk away. A stealth game that allows me to actually play it stealthy, or try and
So it's now I see what this system is. It's seen immediately everything. That's why Assassin's Creed still has it, where it has the yellow meter, just they're checking it out.
Yeah.
There's the fucking bunch of stealth games do that shit.
Yeah.
Even stealth mechanic games, when they may not be about stealth.
I mean, maybe there was hey, someone's watching you, but I'm telling you, the UI is so muddy, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what was going on that screen. It seems very clean and crisp because you've just got very, very light HUD elements on the corners of the screen, but then there is a bunch of stuff that's happening, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it told me someone was watching me, but I didn't notice. Yeah.
I feel you would have noticed this mechanic, this feature, so...
Yeah.
But that's just...
Days Gone.
Don't play it.
I don't know, play it if you want to. I'm just telling you, I thought it was shit. Fuck.